It's time to get sexy, so watch Secular Sexuality Live Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central. Visit tiny.cc/YTSS and call into the show at 512-991-9242 or connect to the show online at tiny.cc/callsex.
Greeting, fellow fiends, proverbial ghouls, and possible goblins, and welcome back to this spook-tacular episode of the Non-Prophets.
Well done.
Of course. This show is a product of the Atheist Community of Austin, a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to the separation of religion and government and promoting positive atheism. Driving this runaway train is yours truly, Cynthia McDonald, and I'm not like other hosts.
What? No, come on.
No, seriously, guys. I'm different. Joining me also with this particular prestigious panel. Yeah, I did that really well. Let's start with my really far left, I believe, Jason.
Oh, wait, wrong cup. My bad.
Jason, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Glad to have you back on the show, even though that you're normally in the background. Really, Neil? So mature of you. Oh, speaking of Neil, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I am spectacular. Thank you for asking, or shall I say spook-tacular?
Spook-tacular. Ooh, the puns are flying.
Oh, yeah. And they will be for the rest of the show.
Oh,
oh, yeah.
Sink our teeth into this one.
Indeed. Indeed. And we also have a special guest host joining us this evening. August, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing well. Before we get into this whole live you dig, which is recorded, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Introduce yourself to our lovely audience.
Sure. I am August. I've been an atheist for about 2 years now. I am currently a college student studying cellular and molecular biology, and I'm very excited to be here.
Awesome. I have a special place in my heart for people who study cellular and molecular biology. Most likely because I did not, because my brain does not work that way.
Yeah, well, takes a special kind of person for certain jobs, so.
Indeed. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And what I'm going to now do is change my spectacles so I can actually see what I'm doing. And everybody, as with all of our shows, oh, that's so much better. Links to today's topics and news we discuss are available in the description below. Feel free to pause this video and read the material for yourself. Don't just take our word for it, but make sure you come back to hear our discussion. All right, so let's go ahead and get this dog and pony show started. And we're going to get started with segment 1 that Jason, I believe that you're going to introduce us to.
I am. And let me tell you, for this article, for this segment, nothing, absolutely nothing says, let's have a proper discussion about cultural sensitivity and gender understanding, quite like a cis straight white guy telling what people should and should not wear as a costume. So for this article, which of course I from Buzzfeed, shows some of the more colorful costumes And it starts off with a little girl dressed up as Anne Frank, and pretty much snowballs from there. Now, look, some people will say, oh, it's a joke. It's all in good fun. It's, we're not actually, this, that, and the other thing. But, there really is a point where you got to say, no, we're not going to do that because it does glorify something that's terrible. Or in the case of, white people doing blackface, and I'm going to be, let me get a little real here on this one, because I think I almost get it. I can't say that I fully get it, but I feel like the offense comes from, and Cynthia, feel free to fully correct me on this one, that it's because of the history, because of white people enslaving black people in our history, beating, murdering, and all that, and then Jim Crow laws, that it's like we're saying, okay, we're using our privilege to not only do this to you through history, but we're just going to have a good old fun time and then just be you. Am I kind of in the ballpark there?
A bit. It goes a little bit further than that, specifically with blackface. Back in the, I want to say like late 19th century, early 20th century, we had minstrel shows, and those were mostly white men portraying black people by dressing up and mimicking them in the most heinous ways for profit. They people actually got like famous, and they toured and made money, and basically what they were doing is they were making fun of the slaves who were newly emancipated at the time, and also just like black people that was in that area with the most profane stereotypes that one could possibly think of, and even making up some new ones on the way. So that is definitely a dark chapter of history, of American history, rather. Insert CRT right here, where we are, and we actually see another inception of this particular thing happening, and it happens oftentimes around this time. And I'm kind of disappointed that we even have to have this conversation about, no pun intended, what not to wear.
I mean, and this was another thing I found. I found the link on Huffington Post, and I don't know if it's going to make it in the description or not. But a number of years ago, there was a 7-year-old who made the news. More the mom made the news, and she had absolutely no problems. Didn't see any problems with dressing up her kid in a KKK costume. And this was 2017. Okay? This wasn't like, 50, 60, 70 years ago. This was in our backyard. Wow. That this happened. And it's, oh no, it's about our culture. Oh, really? Really? You want to go that route?
Yeah, not the culture you should be proud of.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Good idiots.
My sentiments exactly. Go ahead.
There are plenty of options for costumes out there, like literally millions that don't, appropriate or sexualize or whatever, along those lines. There are tons of them out there. Mm-hmm. I'm wearing one.
A very wonderful
Jason's
costume.
wearing one. August is wearing one.
This would be considered a little offensive because of who I am, what I believe, and I'm not. So
You
We can
have a
call this a
pass.
gray
We all
area.
have a pass. We all have a
Yeah,
pass.
but I
It's
think you're
okay.
more of speaking on the religion and not the person, which is I think something we always try to say to
Right.
people is whenever we talk about religion negatively, we're not talking about you as an individual, we're talking about the religion, and they can't
Sure.
seem to separate that. So
Right, exactly. It's about it's the idea, not the person, right? Like I can totally respect you as an individual. I respect, your right, and I even respect your right to your speech, right? Even if I don't agree. But I don't have to respect your ideologies. And
exactly.
and that's the difference. Yeah. Yeah. You want to expand a bit more, August? Because I know you have notes.
Yeah, so in terms of the Anne Frank costume, I could see how someone could argue, well, it's just a cute little costume. Maybe they even want to touch on the Holocaust and things of that such. But I mean, this is child murder, this is child genocide, this is genocide in general, and there are still Holocaust survivors today, and also people who are alive now who had immediate family members or close friends who passed away in the Holocaust as well. So I just think
Right
it's
here.
insensitive to them. Yeah, exactly. There we go. I just think it's really insensitive to them to dress up, and especially in the article, the way the little girl was posing, and it feels wrong to me at my core, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
As it should.
It really should. And I mean, like, I personally don't want to see people dressed up like slaves for Halloween. I really don't want to see that. Even though, like, it's important to know about, this point in history, about slavery, chattel slavery, and things of that nature. But
Better
to
ways to bring that up.
yeah, exactly. Not at a Halloween costume party. You know, I pulled an article, and this was from the Insider that actually had like different people, celebrities, and like some of the really really bad costumes that they actually wore.
You
Let's
like my
see.
prime minister?
Yeah, he was one.
Yeah.
He was one, and even though I know that's like Obama's bro, but still, really, like, really, God, come on now.
Yeah.
This is like, I don't know, it's like kind of crazy. Like, I think that one of the, oh my goodness, this would be so nice if this actually like could open for me.
I tell you one thing though, as
Go
bad as
ahead.
that Anne Frank costume is, they could have added one little detail that would have made it a whole lot worse.
Oh
Mm.
yeah, for sure. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Just yeah. So it's like, okay, we're gonna go really, really bad, but not what is anybody thinking bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah,
I still think it's
exactly.
undeniable that that's Anne Frank, though.
Right. I mean, like,
Even without this symbol, I think it's still.
yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. I'm thinking about a certain movie that made me very sad that I could only watch once. That it's still it's still in poor taste, and it's not like you're going to have to like guess to know what this costume is and what it symbolized. I mean, like, unless you're living under a rock. So it's just something that just not should be done. um but like but when some of the other list of like what some other people actually wore in bad taste, Julianne Hough dressed as Crazy Eyes one year,
Mm.
from Orange is the New Black. No, don't ever do that again. I think that Shaun White, this snowboarder, dressed up as a caricature of a person with disabilities, a Simple Jack. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Chris Brown, who is an amazing dancer, decided one year to dress up like a terrorist.
Yeah,
Don't
but he's
do
not a
that.
good person anyway.
No, he's not. I mean, I'll give you your dancing prowess, but that's where it stops. That's where it definitely stops. And I'm just like, Heidi Klum dressed up like Shiva. Oh, I'm sorry, the goddess Kali, from the Hindu goddess. So that's like cultural appropriation again, in really bad taste. And I really wish that people will actually start to think before they actually put on these particular costumes or shop for their costumes or put stuff together before they decide to go outside the house. I'm
Or
just
putting their
saying.
kids in certain things. Because,
Yeah.
again, a little bit further down, what do you have? A kid in a Confederate officer's costume. And it's like,
Mm.
oh, good. Let's teach hate from the beginning.
And
I mean, okay, I'm come
newsflash.
from a state where, we actually know how to win the Civil War. So that's kind of where.
Well, yeah, I was about to say newsflash, you lost.
Yeah.
But continue what we're going to say, Jason.
No, just that, it's absolutely that. Oh, okay. The parents are just going to dress them up in this hate. It's like, it's our culture. Your culture was owning people.
Yeah.
You want to own that as your culture? No.
Yeah, that part.
Your culture of being a loser and being racist and horrific, that's the culture you want to preserve? Why not sweet tea and, the other things the South stands for?
Hummingbird cake. I don't eat it. It's very sweet, but still, some people like it. And lemonade, that cool, refreshing drink. I mean, that's fine too. Sitting on the veranda and humming, you know, nice songs, but not that. That's not something that should be celebrated or supported. And I don't know. Like I personally just want to say to people, like, if you think your costume is going to be offensive, 9 times out of 10, most likely it's going to be offensive, you know. But yeah, Neil, let's. I want to hear a bit more from you about this whole thingy. I know that's a technical
Uh,
term.
the thingy part, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They did mention something like you can see some of the pictures in this article. One of the ones that says like the sexy scout girl or whatever costume.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure they're not aiming that at kids.
Right.
No.
Right. That's probably you're not going to find that in the kids section at the costume store. I'm pretty sure that one's for adults.
Yeah.
So I think that's one that you don't really have to worry so much about for kids. But yeah,
I think the idea behind it, though, is that you're sexualizing a perceived age group. And so, like, oh, squirrel girl, you're.
in this particular, yeah.
Yeah. And that's where the idea of the offensive idea comes from, is like, well, okay, yeah, you're not sexualizing an actual younger girl, but I don't know too many, not that I'm looking, I don't know too many 18-year-old Girl Scouts,
Right.
18 or above. They're probably, moms who help out with Girl Scouts, but they're not in the uniform.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And I mean, like, I don't necessarily think there's like anything wrong with, wanting to do like the sexy costume or things of that nature. I don't want to, kink shame anybody. But there's still a line, right? I
Yeah,
mean, like,
absolutely.
yeah, you don't necessarily want to like portray something that is usually for a young person, a child, and try to sexualize it. I mean, because again, that is in poor taste, and it could possibly denote other things, right? Especially when you think about like child abuse, pedophilia, things of that nature. I mean,
Yeah, that's what
you
I was
just don't
thinking
do
too.
that. You
Yeah.
just don't do that. uh
And that
yeah
could
I,
quite possibly fan those flames too, right? So
exactly. Yeah, because like there's been so many different, especially as of late, and we covered a lot of those stories in the nonprofits when we actually talked about children, young adults, young teenagers and things of that nature that have been in like religious settings and have been, physically and sexually abused, mentally abused, things of that nature. And a lot of these things could be traumas and triggers for them when they're seeing like someone who wants to go ahead and don this particular costume and think it's like all tongue in cheek and fun, and it's really
and
not.
let's face it too. I'll guarantee you that everyone here in the show right now probably knows someone that's been in that position too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Most definitely. Most definitely. Well, I think that we want to go ahead and then just wrap this particular segment up. So let's get some final thoughts. Jason, you brought us into it. Take us out of it.
Well, I think we've done much on the racial aspect of it, and one thing I want to say is, like, as far as the sexy costumes are concerned, my kink is not your kink. In most cases, that's okay. Because these costumes, they can be ridiculous, they can be fun, but when you are trying to perceive yourself as being something younger, glorifying that underage sexiness that some people might feel, it's like, no, we're done with that. We can just not have that.
Indeed. Neil?
Yeah, I agree with Jason there. I think there's enough choices out there where we don't really have to resort to a shitty costume like that.
Indeed. Do not resort to shitty costumes.
Speaking of which, I got these great vampire fangs I'm going to put in because I'm going to be, the first vampire. See? Yeah. Oh, I might have misread the label. They could be walrus fangs.
6 of one, half a dozen of another.
They only come in twos. Sorry.
They're only coming twos. And last but not least, August, what are your final thoughts?
Yeah, so I guess I'm just going to kind of expand off of what the other two said. I think choosing a costume that is, many of these are undeniably wrong, I think, and unethical. I think it shows ignorance, lack of empathy, and really just a lack of creativity. Like, you couldn't come up with anything better. You couldn't come up with anything that didn't make fun or diminish people's struggles. Like, it's a lack of creativity.
Indeed. And I echo all of your sentiments and raise you I think this needs to be a point of self-reflection. When looking to buy or make a costume, if you pause and think if this could be offensive, again, like I said before, most likely it is. But in the words of one television doctor, common sense ain't so common. Moving along. That went well too. Oh, okay. Well, because of your because of your dedicated viewership and spreading the good news of the faithless nonprofits, we have now more than 9,000 subscribers. Jason, did you? Woo! Yeah. Jason, did you see the latest number?
I think we were sitting at somewhere like 9.64 thousand. So we have less than 400 to go. It's been amazing seeing that number go up.
Yay!
I will create 400 more YouTube accounts.
And you know what? You can get on that right now. Well, thank you to both our veteran subscribers and welcome to our new subscribers. Yes, we are not 9.64 thousand subscribers, as Jason said. So, yes.
And
again,
what happens when we get to 10,000?
Well, once we actually hit 10,000 subscribers, Jason, because I'm glad you asked, we will be able to start doing fundraisers. Yay! So if you're watching us now and haven't subscribed yet, you can help us get there by doing so right now. So share the link to our channel with your friends, family members, co-workers, that neighbor guy you like, or the neighbor guy you don't like, whomever, that neighbor, both of them, and then tell them to subscribe, to send it to another neighbor that they'd like and don't like, and keep that rolling, and anyone and everyone. And let's get the word out there so that we can start helping with those fundraisers. And once you have subscribed, click the like button below and set your notification bell to on. see, like it glows. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't glow, but that's okay. Pretend like it does. So you're always notified when a new Nonprofits episode premieres every Sunday at 3 p.m. 1, 2, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And are you aware the atheist community of Austin has another YouTube channel? Are you all aware
I
of this?
was.
Really?
Yeah, they do. So check out the Atheist Experience Network, a one-stop shop for all the ACA shows in podcast form in one channel. Subscribe at tiny.cc/AEN podcast to listen to episodes of the Nonprofits, the Atheist Experience, Secular Sexuality, and all of our other ACA shows so you don't miss a single episode.
And that channel, they just got over 1,000 subscribers, and that means that they can now start helping out the ACA mission as well.
Exactly. So share that one too, people. Listen to that one, people. Like that one, people. Subscribe to that one, people. Do all, et al, and the above. Indeed, indeed. All
I
right.
really hope Katie is listening to this. She's going to go absolutely nuts with all those indeeds.
Indeed. one more for your mind. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our next segment, which I believe that Miss August, you're going to take us in.
Yep, I sure am. All right, so the page The Breeze, I believe it is, they posted an article about this concept of hell houses, and basically expanded on the fact that they are unethical because essentially they are haunted houses for Christians, where instead of depicting scary scenes that you'd see in your typical scary movie, they instead show scenes of quote unquote hell, where things like real situations of abortion, drug use, LGBTQIA plus community issues, suicide, drunk driving, abuse, etc., are all depicted, and these people in the haunted houses are then being shown going to hell because of these things. And their main goal is to try to scare people, really. And so people are arguing that they are unethical because it's just scenes of hell and kind of triggering situations. So what do you all think about that?
It's a bad idea.
That's a hot take.
What really bugs me about these is they every fucking Sunday they can talk about these things in their little churches. They don't have to barge in on Halloween. It's like it's one day, people. You can just leave it be, all right? And you don't need your stupid hell houses. I don't care. Like, yeah, sure, hell's scary. Sure, Halloween's all about scary, but you don't have to drag that shit into this holiday because it's scary, yeah, but it's supposed to be fun scary, not you're going to hell because you happen to be a member of the LGBTQIA plus community. You don't need that crap, right? Save it for your Sundays. And yes, I know Halloween's on a Sunday this year, but
it's really okay.
Just happenstance.
Oh, I was also going to tell you, Neil, we're way past the
Just
2-minute mark. So if you want to switch your fridging to something else, feel free.
I realize that. I am trying to curb my. I am literally, that character from Tiny Toons called Foulmouth. That's me.
That's fair.
Quite fair. Jason.
Yeah, no, it irks the crap out of me, and it's not necessary. They can save that for their own little silly things.
Yeah, I agree. It's just in bad taste, and I mean like
psychologically damaged kids too when they see that at that age, right?
Right. I mean, like you're having like these depictions of like abortion clinics or people having an abortion.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, like basically everything that is supposedly something that you can get punished for or considered a sin that can take you to hell. Yeah, according to that book, which I have a few copies of. Don't ask me why. I just do. And
Referential purposes.
well, I was going to say for entertainment purposes only.
I mean, I want to say that this surprises me. I really want to say that this surprises me, but it just doesn't.
Mm,
And at the same time, I can only imagine, like I don't know that this is true. I just feel like it's true. Kirk Cameron has to live in one of these houses, right? He just lives there so that whenever he goes from room to room, if he ever strays from the path, he's boom, abortion is bad. Boom, it's right there. He goes take a shower in the blood of the innocent or something, and it's like, no, this is a hell-worthy trespass. You can't. I'm just convinced that is true.
I met him.
My
I-
condolences.
I did meet. I met him when I was in college, August. I met Kirk Cameron. By this time, he was a full-fledged traveling evangelist. He was
Okay.
invited to a speaking engagement in the city where I worked at the time, and I worked at a hotel. So I checked him in, and he kept saying his name. And it took me a little bit to actually realize who he
boy.
was. I said, I literally said that. I said, I just realized who you are. But at the time, I didn't know that he was like saved or doing the thing that he did now. I'm thinking he's still Mikey Seaver. I'm just saying. And so then him and the person that he was with were doing these like magic tricks for it. I don't know why, but they kept doing magic tricks. They were doing magic tricks and they kept going,
man.
Cynthia, hey Cynthia, look here, hey Cynthia. And I'm like, oh my gosh, would you please stop? Now you're annoying me. I am trying to work. And then at the end it said, you just received this card because you were looking at a magic tricks, but have you really thought about your soul? I was like, did Mikey Seaver just
He just tried to convert you.
Did he just try to convert me?
He tried to convert you.
Mikey
like
Seaver tried to convert me.
How dare he?
Somebody take that away from me, please.
So the thing about these hell houses is that, like, they're very similar to any haunted house that you would see, on down on a farm, or they're all volunteer based. They're all very badly acted by teenagers. and a lot of people get a chuckle out of it, because I would think that most people who go through these, they're not taking them serious. But the fact that you get impressionable people coming through there and be like, oh yeah, I really don't want to go to hell. What can I do to prevent that? And I really feel that this scores pretty darn high on the bite model. Like, you've got the behavioral control, you've got, okay, maybe not so much the information control, because it's only like, you're in there for that short amount of time. So whatever information, it's what they happen to have, but they can't control it once you leave. But they are doing thought control. They are doing it, and especially in emotional control.
Yeah.
Tugging at that, like, you don't even want to have an impure thought, because then you're all of a sudden gonna be, Satan's xylophone or some ridiculous garbage. And so, yeah. And there were a couple of quotes in here, saying that, like, bad people don't become bad by mistake. Okay, cool. I can agree with that to some extent, that there are, basically saying that there are, extenuating circumstances that would cause somebody to go bad. I get that. Let's tackle that instead of packaging all up and saying, go to God. Oh, I really shouldn't say that while I'm wearing this.
It's fear tactics, though. It is. August, you look like you have more to add to the discourse.
Yeah. Part of what I love so much about haunted houses when I do choose to go in them is the fact that the second you step out of it, you're like, oh, okay, I'm safe. It's fake. It's not real. It's all just, obviously the demon girl from The Ring isn't actually going to come after me. But when you put it in this perspective of, no, this is actually going to happen to you, it puts a whole new anxiety to it. Because, haunted houses are inherently anxiety inducing, but you understand it's fake. You understand that these are actors. But when you're in one of these Christian haunted houses, they are telling you that this is what's going to happen to you. And not only that is this going to happen to you, it is going to continue to happen to you forever. For eternity.
Yeah.
Which we can't even conceptualize.
Right.
Yeah. So, and as someone who unfortunately was very persuaded by Pascal's wager in the early stages of me leaving religion, it was actually one of the things that kept me holding on way too long. And so I could see myself as like a sort of, questioning things and going into one of these haunted houses and then suddenly being like, oh, no, I need to be Christian because look what's going to happen to me if I don't. So I can see how that could just be, and especially all these people who aren't like, out or don't really know what they believe yet. And then it can drag them back into this basically indoctrination. So that's why I just really don't like it.
It's a fear tactic, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. Go ahead, Neil. You have more to say. I can see it on your face and on your commander uniform.
No, actually, August covered what I was going to say. So that you said exactly what I was going to talk about when you leave the place, you're like, whew, that was scary, but I'm okay now. This one, you carry baggage with you. This one's will stay with you because people are telling you, sure, it's a scary house, but this is real. And you're like, holy shit. And you're going out of there and you're like, damn it, I'm going to hell now because I touched myself last Wednesday. But, like that's the kind of thing that's going to stick with you, right? So, psychologically, it's a shit show. They shouldn't, it's stupid.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
Did you all read the part about one of the there was an actual church that used to sell Hell Houses starter kits for like $299?
Yeah.
Did you guys take a look at the church?
Oh, I didn't. What did you find out about it?
Oh boy. Well, it seems like they have a pretty robust drama department. And
there you go.
Please, people, the link will be provided in the show notes below. Do yourself a favor. Take a look at some of the photographs from their drama department. It's a sight to see. It's a sight to see. That's just and one of the things that I've noticed was like an ongoing theme on their whole drama department photos that they were showing is that they're the characters that you would most likely see in a hell house. They had a lot of folks dressed up like demons. They had one person who was dressed up in leather with aviators on like I had on earlier. I guess like they were trying to be a badass, I don't know, and they were influenced by the demons to be a badass, and had other people begging and pleading, please save me, had Jesus there, and looks like the Jesus was singing or sermonizing or doing both, who knows. And wow is what all I can say is
some of the pictures are ridiculous. Like what they show even guys dressed up as the founding fathers, right?
Oh yeah, right? Yeah. Oh
right?
yeah,
like,
yes.
Wrong.
Right. That's not a dog whistle. That's not a dog whistle at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. Not at all. But yeah, overly, in my opinion, really heavy on the demon pictography. A little bit more from my taste. It looks like I'm looking at a picture right now. It looks like somebody's dressed like death, like the Grim Reaper. I mean, like, oh, another person is dressed up like a witch and going with the fangs and the what you not and the whatnot. The what you not? Did I just say what you not?
Let's go back in the tape.
Yeah. It was just something, I don't know. It, I can't help but to just think to myself, like, this is just poor, poor, poor taste, you
It's
know.
terrible.
Yeah, So I think we're going to go ahead and just wrap up this particular portion now, and I'm going to start with final thoughts. August, since you brought us in, won't you go ahead and take us out?
Sure. I like I said earlier, I think part of the fun of the haunted house is the fact that you get that adrenaline rush from the, anxiety you feel when you have a chainsaw guy chasing you down a hallway. But the second you step out of it, you can say, "Oh, okay, I'm safe." But with these hell houses, you're telling people that you're not going to be safe. You have to do what we tell you, or you're never going to be safe for eternity. So I think that's why I think they're wrong.
Right. Well said. You're here.
Yeah, these are these things are we get what you're trying to do, but they're a bad idea. They're a really bad idea, especially this time of year. If you're going to do it on the same day, if you chose another day and you had your own little ceremonies that you do, whatever, that's fine. Keep them, where they belong, but don't do it on Halloween, because Halloween's supposed to be fun for the kids. You're not supposed to scare them like somehow they're going to burn for an eternity. That's just utterly ridiculous. So stop it.
Just stop it.
And you know what's funny? I think all of us said we'd never even heard of these things. So that's
Yeah.
kind of good news, because that means that they might be a very, very small amount of these things out there. Let's bring that number to zero, because they're not appropriate and they're ridiculous.
Am I allowed to say amen?
Yes.
Ramen. We say ramen.
Ramen. And Jason?
I didn't even think along the lines with what August said. Is like, yeah, when you're out of that haunted house, you're but when you go out of these, oh no, I'm still not saved. I need to now go and do more to get saved. That actually kind of hit home a little bit, because I didn't think along those lines. When I was in not Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, we did a little haunted house thing, but there was none of the religious overtones. We just, cardboard tunnels and, just really kind of garbage type of thing. And it was fun. It was great. It was, you can still have, because the Cub Scouts being a quasi religious, not really quasi, but institution, and yet still you can have fun. You can have this devil over here, and you don't need to force all that through down your throat when you're trying to just have fun.
Exactly. And I was just going to say, like, I forgot to mention this earlier. Even when I was a practicing Christian and we would have like parties for like the kids, we used to do like hallelujah. Yeah. It was we call it like Hallelujah night. And it was basically like a mini carnival. We had games and prizes and gave out candy. The kids just didn't dress up in like, costumes and stuff like that. But I mean, it was still like a good fun night that they were able to partake of and didn't feel left out because we did something for them. And I if that was going to be more of the theme that other churches, Christian organizations would practice, I would have no problem with that. But this right here, it ain't okay.
No.
Absolutely
Unnecessary.
Exactly.
I was lucky growing up, because growing up as a little Jewish kid, we got to do Halloween, and then we got to get dressed up again for Purim, which is in the springtime. So we have to play dress up twice a year. Yay!
Wow, that's kind of cool. Now you got to do a whole nother show with us, Neil, just to talk about Purim.
It's really not that exciting.
Okay.
Except when I lived in Israel, if you're walking around and you see that people are party for Purim, it's like party time. The whole idea behind it is to be so drunk that you don't recognize the people around you or something.
Oh, sign me up.
So they grab you if you're walking, they pull you in, and they stick a bottle of wine in your hands, And I'm like 15 when this happened, 16 when this happened. I'm like, all right, I'm into this. So I woke up on the side of the highway wondering what the hell I was doing there.
Oh, wow. Well, when in Rome, not necessarily.
When in Jerusalem.
When
Yeah.
in Jerusalem.
Something like that.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Well,
fun.
fun times. Well, I think this is a good time right now for us to take a break from our show discussion. And if you didn't tune into some of the shows last week, here is what you missed.
You mentioned those like dumbly dumbs that come in for the very first time and are like, oh, I'm such a badass master, and ain't nobody buying it. Just be you, be humble.
I personally can't exorcise any demons into pigs or, heal blind folks using dirt and spit.
you know I was gonna make, hey, a non-profits episode without a Monty Python reference is a non-profits episode I don't want to be a part of.
Name one chemical that self-replicates.
DNA.
Thank you. I really appreciate your advice and the fact that I got to speak to someone that's, I think, one of the most influential people in the atheist community.
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far with Dave, but he's pretty cool.
Let me tell you, that MD Aware, he's good people.
Indeed. Indeed. Again for you, Katie.
I was just trying to think if we had a Monty Python reference yet.
Right. I was trying to think of if
Cynthia turned me into
I did say Jerusalem. I got better.
She's a witch.
She's a witch. A witch.
Don't get me started. You don't want to get me started on that. You really don't.
What also floats on water? Little tiny rocks.
Also, I would like to say, since we had two nonprofits that just celebrated birthdays, Jason and Neil, happy belated birthday. When mine, I was going to ask you, when mine comes around, I request a strawberry. There you go.
I'll watch for Roger the Shrubber for you then.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Well, let's go ahead and get into our next segment. One of my favorite. You know what, Jason? That is not the segment. The segment is not me. It's actually shit internet apologists say.
Shit internet apologists say.
Oh boy, and they be saying some shit, y'all. And let me tell you, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite internet apologists to actually talk about. This comes from our friend of the show. That would be Hemant Mehta, Friendly Atheist, who is referencing Greg Locke, who recently had a sermon where he entitled it "Why I Told." I know I had to breathe for a moment, but it was "Why I Told Halloween to Go to Hell." Yeah, go ahead, get it out, y'all.
The titles.
Yeah, get it out. Now, let me just tell you that Greg Locke never disappoints when it comes to saying some shit. I swear, if I had $1 for every wackadoodle thing that comes out of this man's mouth, I will be able to retire. Seriously. So with this sermon entitled "Why I Told Halloween to Go to Hell," he prefaces that he will be theologically controversial. He comes from foundational scriptures of 2 Corinthians 6 and Ephesians 5. But he also says that he doesn't want to shepherd you in your bedroom or your living room. That's what he says. And he doesn't tell you what to wear, where to eat, or where to go. And if there is a church that does that, that is a cult. Say amen.
Amen. No,
Yes.
I agree with him on that one.
Yes, yes.
Amen.
Yes, amen. But we're not even going to talk about how he was telling people not to wear a mask at his church and don't get vaccinated.
Wow.
But that's neither here nor there. Now, in this particular article that Hemant writes about, he talks about a specific a story that Greg implores to his followers on said Halloween go to hell day. And I'm just going to read a little bit from the article and this is what Greg said. Parents could literally give over one of their children for a demonic sacrifice. Mm-hmm. You study if I'm not telling you the truth. I wish I could do his voice, but I'm not that great at it. But so I'm just going to read regularly. This would even have to give they would even have to give one of their children over to a demonic sacrificial system, or the treat was their virgin daughter to be raped by demons. Did you hear me? Yeah. And basically he was talking about in the sermon where they got the term trick or treat, which if you guys get a chance to watch it, that is absolutely not true. I'll go on. And then he tells a story about a girl that he knows in this town. Oh yeah, which we have no idea what town this is. That will put this town. This town. That's all you need to know. That will put her hand on a mile-high stack of Bibles and let you know that every night for over a year she was raped in her bedroom by a demon, and it changed her life tragically forever. And no, again, that did not happen. And then he says, I'm telling you that this mess is a reality in the witchcraft world, and they know it. They know it, and they don't want us to expose it. But la di da da, the cat's out of the bag, Jack. The black cat's out the bag now. Why the cat got to be black?
Anyway. I was kind of wondering that myself, but I didn't want to say anything.
Like, why the cat got to be black, Greg? But anywho,
it's a fair question.
It is.
being in pagan and Wiccan and stuff myself for many years, black cats are synonymous with witches.
Oh yeah, I just tongue in cheek. I know. Still, but why it gotta be black? That's okay. So here's what would happen: you either give your child, or you would give your virgin daughter. And do you know what the Druids would do in return? They would place a pumpkin starting with a gourd, and they would place the pumpkin on your porch with the face of a demon on it. And if you had obeyed the sacrificial satanic system, they would then put a light inside of the demon so it would pass over your house. And this is the cultural history behind the jack-o'-lantern. And if you did not give them the treat, the demon on you will play the trick. And this is where we get the phrase trick or treat.
Citation needed, please.
None of that is true.
No, not a word of it.
No.
It's like he's trying to cross Passover in there with it. You mark
why
the
not?
with pumpkin blood and
let's just throw
quite the active imagination.
Sam Hain goes over your house.
Right. Oh yeah. He
steals the candy from the neighbors. I don't know. What the fuck are you talking about?
He did do in the sermon. It's not in this for the full sermon because I actually watched it. I know. You please take pity on me, but I
cried.
I am
30 seconds into it.
Yeah. I let me can I show you the face that I had the entire sermon?
Sure.
Yeah.
I believe it.
But he did do that whole, he kept on repeating the word Sanheim. And I was just like, what are you, is this like Candyman or, Bloody Mary, I want your kid dead or type stuff? All of a sudden, like Sanheim is about to come out the mirror and come get you. I mean, I don't know, Greg, you tell me. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But somebody, please take this away from me right now. Take this cup that it may passeth over me, Jason.
So yeah, I mean, I kind of wanted to bring in a little bit, tis the season, right? We're getting into the holiday season. I just went to a Home Depot the other day, and I feel like instead of talking about Halloween, we're just going to go right into Christmas, and we're going to go. So I looked up on the History Channel. I think it was Neil. You brought up the History Channel, the history of Halloween and trick or treating, and that was really great. But there was some interesting stuff about Christmas in that, back before we were a country, back when we were colonies and back further still, Christmas celebrations were more like a Mardi Gras kind of event. There was drinking, there was lots and lots of drinking. Some people would say there's debauchery, and it felt very kind of like what people like Locke would say Halloween has turned into. They would find a beggar, or apparently a student is said in here. I don't know why the student had to be there, but they would be crowned the Lord of Misrule, which just sounds like a whole bunch of fun if you ask me. That's cool. Yeah, sign me up. And what they would do is they would go around, poor people would go around to homes of the rich, demanding drinks, demanding treats. Otherwise, they would terrorize them with mischief. Now, okay, yes, they didn't use the words trick or treat, but that sounds awfully familiar, doesn't it? And so I'm thinking, okay, instead of banning this straw man of a holiday that Greg Locke has pretty much created, why don't we go ahead and ban the historical Christmas? Which, I mean, technically we already did because it's not what it was. But, he should be more upset about the historical. Oh, wait a minute, but history doesn't matter to guys like him, does it?
No,
it doesn't. You can tell him. Well, I mean, he's already gone very vocal against critical race theory as well. So obviously he doesn't give, a flying crap about any kind of history.
Right.
Well, he just made up a whole history about Halloween right now on this whole. It was
Locke lives in his own world.
He really does, and he calls that Lockeology. He calls that Lockeology.
Good, he can keep it.
Yeah, I agree, Neil.
Oh, the victimization that he faced going into a Dunkin' Donuts.
He's lucky I wasn't there.
I want to know about the victimization. Dunkin' Donuts is mine.
Oh, that's a different segment. No.
Oh, okay, cool. Gotcha.
We'll get there.
And you mentioned even Christmas. I mean, like, we haven't gotten there yet. Remember, we still need to stage a whole war on Christmas coming up. So everyone out there, let's get prepared for that.
I'm sharpening my battle axe right now.
Good, very good. I'm about to do something paganist with my tree. I don't know. Oh, I'm going to actually have a tree.
Yeah. Shoot, my friend does. He puts instead of like an angel or a star on the top of the tree, puts Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo.
The Christmas poo.
You can put anything.
Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo.
So this is kind of funny, like how when you listen to him tell this revisionist history of Halloween in of itself, like he completely skips how even the Halloween had like roots in Christianity. It kind of like Christmas.
No.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, we don't want to talk about that, but I mean, because I mean, because like
Celtic in origin.
Yes, Celtic in origin. However, when that region became Christian around 1000 CE, they the church kind of enfolded the Samhain into their traditions, and it became All Hallows Eve, right? An eve before,
evolved into what we
yeah,
what we know
right,
it now.
and to All Saints Day, and then the next day All Souls Day. So it became like Christian in some shape, way, or form, but we ain't gonna talk about that. But whatever. Yeah.
No, we
August,
don't
what
need
you
to
got?
talk. They can
All right, so I have two different points. One is a lot darker. So let me start off with that one, and then I'll end with the lighter one. I just think the fact that he's making up this absolutely bullshit story about someone experiencing sexual assault. I, as a person, take that very, very, very seriously when someone says that has happened to them. And the fact that he's just throwing that word and that horrendous, horrific situation just around willy-nilly and just absolutely lying about it, that's what boils my blood. I cannot stand the just diminishing of people who have experienced sexual assaults stories.
agree.
And it just I can't. Okay, so lighter note, I thought it was especially interesting and kind of funny that if you actually see the video, which I encourage everybody, go watch it for yourself. He is so funny because he's like being all dramatic and like straight faced and just pointing at the ground and then like raising his voice and then having dramatic pauses. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't, I'm getting secondhand embarrassment for him because I can't watch it with a straight face. And I'm like, how can he say this without bursting into laughter because of how absolutely, who buys this? It is ridiculous. Even if you're Christian, this is ridiculous. I just, that part, I couldn't even get through the whole video. It was just, the secondhand embarrassment was too bad.
He is a showsman. I mean,
yeah, he is.
Say what you will, and we can definitely say a whole lot, and probably even more past the hour and a half that we get here. But he is a showsman. He knows how to rile up his audience.
Yeah. That he is quite animated on stage.
Yeah.
He is
loud
and obnoxious, and and he is definitely something to watch. And I would encourage everyone, again, the show notes are going to have the link to the article that has the video clip that we were talking about. So, please go ahead and take a look at it. But, I just want to just get, everyone's just final thoughts on this one as we go ahead and round it up. Well, we go ahead and start with you, August.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's horrific that he's just throwing around sexual assault and making light of it almost. Although he's being serious about it, he is lying about it and using it as like a manipulation tactic to his audience. And I just find that wrong on every single level that there is. But I also think his way of preaching is hilarious, and I kind of question the critical thinking skills of his audience that are buying this without realizing how ridiculous he sounds. So
ditto, Neil.
Yep. Yeah, I've pretty much said all I'm going to say about it. Is the only thing I could close with is fuck Greg Locke. That's all I can tell you. Well, you guy's a dick. I'm sorry, but he is. Sorry, not sorry.
Agreed. And Jason.
Well, like I said, looking at the history of Halloween versus the history of Christmas, I don't know. I kind of almost want to say I agree with Locke, and just say, down with Halloween and hail Christmas.
Can we get like Christmas Ween in there somewhere? Oh, I'm sorry, that's the next segment. But before we go there, we have a special announcement from our one of our shows on the ACA, Truth Wanted. So check it out.
Hi everybody, Objectively Dan here from the ACA's very own Truth Wanted, and I am here at the Driscoll Hotel, Texas's supposedly most haunted hotel. And we are going to be doing a very special live event on October 31st, Halloween night, where we are going to be live streaming in the hotel's allegedly most haunted room.
Oh, that looks like so much fun.
Oh my gosh, Neil.
Here.
Oh, come in, Neil. We'll get,
You have
hold on.
7 days.
There you go. There you are.
You have 7 days till you die.
Right. Where we all tune in next week and
sweet death.
tune in next week, people, to see if we're still around. Oh my goodness. Well, we have come to our very final segment that we just want to preface as more shit internet apologists say.
Shit internet apologists say.
Because again, they keep on saying shit. So please, Neil, can you tell us about the shit that more apologists are saying about this shit before I say shit again?
We were just talking about Greg Locke. He's a wiener. So here's the next one is apparently the evangelical Christians. They can't get enough of conservative Jesus, like the judgy guy. So they want to put him everywhere. And so now they've come up with a replacement for Halloween called Jesus Ween. And there are pictures on, you can see them on bus stops, on the backs of buses. They even have them on some of the billboards out there and stuff like that. It's utterly hilarious. And apparently Twitter is just alight with the jokes being cracked. As far as I know, I think we have some of the pictures.
Yes, we do.
The evangelical
the internet remains undefeated.
Wow.
The divine palace is a cannon.
Yep. That's my favorite one. The divine palace.
Yeah. Put a little Jesus until he backs it on up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Holy wiener, Batman! Oh my goodness, Twitter, usually is a dumpster fire, but I enjoyed that.
Every once in a while, there's just that little gold nugget that you have to sort through all the crap with, and then you just like, all right, I guess we can keep it around for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I have fun on Twitter. I know it's a shithole, and a lot of people can be pretty everyone just goes insane on there, but some for good reason, some not so much.
Right.
And but this whole thing with the Jesus Ween just cracked me up. Like a Christian gift giving festival. Should Jesus Ween replace Halloween? Like, I'm sorry, what? It's just like, does the fucker have his own holidays? He's got a bunch of them. Let him keep those ones. What's he got to bust in on this one for? Like, come on. Seriously, this is Halloween. Let kids get scared and have fun. Like,
but how many holidays are Christians going to co-op? They've already
all
had
of them.
most of the pagan ones. Now they're just going to make shit up.
Everyone, Jason, all the holidays should be Christian according to Christians.
But why Jesus Ween? Like, why not Holy Ween? Or like. Something like, come on, seriously? Did they not think this one through?
I'm sure they did.
I hear it's a really tiny holiday, anyways. But
well, it's colder, so there's bound to be some shrinkage.
That's true. That's true.
You ladies, I'm sorry, you don't understand this. It gets a little bit colder, okay? I'm sorry.
Okay,
There's
it's not
enough
Thursday.
men in my life that I would know.
But it's not Thursday, y'all. It's not Thursday.
We're just getting ready for it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So,
Am I the only one who actually thought about like hot dogs? Like when I first.
Yes, I did.
You thought about hot dogs too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and not in a good way.
I thought more like cocktail weenies, but okay.
Oh gosh.
August, you had like a couple interesting thoughts.
People are going to say he's
this.
projecting.
Wow. Overcompensation, huh?
More pun intended.
I mean, it literally is Thursday somewhere in the world as we're recording this. So we're safe. We're good.
Facts. Facts. I think I asked August, you mentioned that you thought that this should be on The Onion.
Yes, because I have a very, very hard time believing that they legitimately came up with this and said, this is a good idea. Like, I just imagine all of them sitting at their, like, round table or whatever they do to come up with their ideas. And they're just, it's that one meme of someone suggesting something, but instead of throwing him out the window, they're like, yeah, that's a great idea. Like, promotion. Like, what? Maybe that was the point, was to get everybody's attention, but it really didn't work out the way they wanted to, if that was their intention. But I find it hard believing that was their intention either. So I can't believe this is not satire. I facepalm so hard.
I got you.
Oh yeah, if there
There
was,
we go. Yes,
I would definitely say that this, for me, anyways, this would be the facepalm of the year.
Absolutely.
Like every facepalm gift that you see out there, you just roll them all together because it's one big, like, what the fuck?
Right. Did anybody actually get a chance
Jesus' wiener out of my candy bag? That's
I really want Jesus's wiener out of my candy bag as well. I would definitely have to agree with you on that, Neil. Now, but I was going to ask you guys: did any of you actually watch the news segment about how they came up with this whole thing? As you should.
Neil's losing it.
That's
wait, did you just say the news reported on this?
Yes.
Yeah.
They did.
Yes. In the
CTV News in Calgary did it. Actually.
Yeah.
Were they saying how awful it was? I hope that was what they were saying.
Yeah, this birthed in my country, by the way. Just
yes, yeah, we always say fuck Canada for you and your damn universal health care.
Instead of oh Canada, it's oh Canada.
Oh Canada.
Yeah, pretty much this time.
No, there was like a group of people that got together who did like this. They decided to go ahead and do a marketing campaign to see about replacing Halloween with Jesus Ween. And then, was trying, and then they had like billboards in their town. Of course, like you saw the bus. They had like little demarcations with like flyers like on trees and things of that nature. They have a whole website set up to talk more about the campaign to change the name from Halloween to Jesus Ween.
Which you can find out for yourself. You don't need to advertise them in any way, shape, or form. Well, actually, we did it in the Twitter feeds, but whatever.
We kind of did.
Whoops.
That bust you see in that advertisement, in the tweet that you're seeing out there.
We'll fix it in post. It's good. All right. It's fine.
The license plate is Ontario, just so you know. So sorry, guys. Canada's pretty good at a lot of shit, but Yeah, we have our this one, of course. I think the group that came up with this is out of Alberta, which is pretty much Canada's Texas anyway. So it's kind of like our Bible Belt. We do have like a Bible Belt area right near where I live too.
Oh, really?
We have a city called Mission, for crying out loud. So yeah.
But something completely different just popped into my mind. I know it's not Thursday.
Stay on topic, Cynthia.
I know it's not Thursday.
Stay on topic. Almost there.
Almost. I'm gonna hold it a little while longer. call you later, sweetie. Anywho, go ahead, Jason. What are we going to say?
So, I mean, again, this is one of those things where it's like, I want to be surprised, but I can't be. My wife is originally from Florida, and from the deeply religious, like there's a Baptist church next to a Baptist church next to, well, a pawn shop and then a Baptist church.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
And
And
no Starbucks or 7-Eleven in there?
No, this
Starbucks is a little too high class.
A little too high class, a little too satanic for their taste.
Applebee's?
Right,
They don't support Christmas, don't you know?
Oh,
I think they had like 2 or 3 Golden Corrals, so that's something.
That makes sense. That makes
Well,
sense as well.
When she was going to school, there were parents that were all up in arms about Halloween celebrations, and this is satanic and we can't have this. And the school actually banned them for a while. And it took a retiring principal to say, no, we are going to have this. Everybody's going to have fun. This is going to be great. And all the rest of you guys that are just flipping out about this can just deal with it on your own. And so for that 1 year, before that principal retired, they did have that Halloween celebration. And now I don't know if they're still doing that. It's been many years since she's been back to Pensacola and all that. But I can see that happening all across the Bible Belt. Neil, you said that happened in your version of a Bible Belt. And so, yeah, there are people who they're completely brainwashed into thinking, having fun is bad and just being a slave to somebody else's words is good. I honestly don't get it, but I'm not them.
That part, I think of the same thing when I was even looking at this segment, like why is my question that I would have for the people. Why? But as you said, Jason,
because Jesus.
Because Jesus. Oh, that was part of my contract too, guys. I have to do at least one preacher voice before every nonprofit episode. Yeah. Yeah, it's either singing or a preacher voice. You're welcome, people.
Contractual obligation fulfilled. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yes. Let me just put that on
there. Check. Oh, well, Neil, since you actually brought us into this, I'm going to let you round us out of that. Yeah, it's okay. We chose it, so you take us out of it.
All right, exiting the bus now. Yeah, people. No. If you're gonna do something like this, please reconsider the name. Okay, like Holy Ween would make a lot more sense than I'm sorry. I just keep picturing little cocktail weenies and him standing there going, "Hey," like this, and I'm not even in costume, and so just leave Halloween alone, for crying out loud. It's one day a year. Right. Jesus is in enough other holidays. Leave him out of this.
Exactly.
So I hear Jack Skellington could kick his ass anyway. So.
And now we're ready.
I feel like they have the same dietitian.
Yeah.
I can't take you people anywhere.
Nope. And you love it.
I do.
Nope. I wouldn't recommend that.
No, I do. I love it. I love all the buffoonery. It's great, But this is great, guys. This is a lot of fun. But this before we actually just round out everything, just want to remind folks, right? For one, and also, if you guys would you join our social media outlet fan clubs or fan social media outlets? We don't really have fan clubs, but we do have social media outlets that fans can join. So you can find most of the nonprofit hosts on the Atheist community of Discord by going to tiny.cc/acd Discord. and on Facebook at tiny.cc/FBNP. And if you would like to support the show, you can do so by becoming a patron at tiny.cc/Patreon NP. And if you find yourself already shopping at Amazon, support the atheist community of Austin by shopping at smile.amazon.com and selecting the atheist community of Austin as the beneficiary. Be sure to use that link to help out the ACA, and we appreciate it. And we value your feedback, people. We really, really do. So please tell us what you like and what you don't like in the comments, or you can email us at nonprofits@atheist-community.org. You got it?
Got it.
It's okay?
Got it.
So right? So good. So yes, thank you, Neil. A little levity of Jesus Ween before we roll out. And speaking of roll out, why don't we go ahead and just get some final thoughts? Jason, I'm going to go ahead and start with you.
This is a fun time, and we're still not out of the woods as far as COVID is concerned. So when you're out there, you're going to your Halloween parties, you're going to your different holiday parties. I know you Canadians, you already had your Thanksgiving. We're about to have ours, in a month. Just be safe and think for yourselves.
Indeed. Neil?
First of all, I might even be down there for your guys' Halloween. So, Halloween, Thanksgiving.
Oh, nice.
I'll be here for Halloween. I might be down there, for Faithless Forum.
Nice.
And I'll be staying a little longer, so hanging out and stuff with people.
Cool.
So yeah, but yeah, as I'm on board with this. Just fucking leave Halloween alone, man. All right, you got enough holidays. Leave this one alone.
That's right, goddammit.
You don't need the extra one. Like honestly, it's to the point where it's like, who do you think you are? It's like, really? Like, who do you think you are? You gotta appropriate everything? Like, screw off, man. Leave Halloween alone.
Indeed.
I'm going to send Mr. Ookie Boogie after all of you.
And last but definitely not least, August.
Thank you. I guess I kind of just want to parrot what Jason said. If you're going to go out, make sure you have a safe ride. Make sure you know where you're going. Someone knows where you are. Just stay safe. Have fun. One night of fun is not worth, having lifelong consequences for it. So just, be safe, have fun. Please don't appropriate anyone's culture. Think twice about your costumes. If you want to celebrate Jesus Ween, go right ahead. But definitely shut down your hell houses, because we have definitely decided that those are unethical. So
yes,
yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
Indeed.
That's what I think of your houses.
Well, that was absolute. Thank you so much, August. That was appropriate, and I'm about to say something very inappropriate. Keep your goddamn Jesus Ween off my fucking candy.
Amen.
That's right.
Tell him, Michael.
That's right. He.
Oh, that was good.
Shimona, you know it all right. And thank you, you fellow ghouls and gals, for tuning in to another episode of Nonprofits. And we are out.
Watch The Atheist Experience live Sundays at 4:30 p.m. Central. Visit tiny.cc/YTAXP and call into the show at 512-991-9242 or connect to the show online at tiny.cc/callaxp.